Welcome to Frax Check, your weekly Frax vibe check. I'm your host, Capital K, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, DeFi Dave, and our producer, Sam. We'll be going straight to the source of truth via checking the chain. But before we jump in, please subscribe to the Flywheel Pod. We're on a march to 10,000. Please help us get there. And also follow us at Flywheel Pod on Twitter and Telegram. And this week, boys, I call it the holiday bounce week.
The holiday bounce.
We have a shimmering of hope. Hope, okay? Just a shimmer. So don't get too excited. All right. Now, first, as always, we had to start with our regular programming, and that is the peg check. Oh, sorry, 1 second. And as always, we check the peg at the lowest it got this week was 0.998, and the highest it got was $1. It's peg check strong. But we obviously couldn't just take the dashboard's words for it. We had to go straight to the market, and we went to Curve. And with the Frax base pool, we're able to swap 100 million Frax at an exchange rate of 0.9972. Granted, at such a large size, that 28 bips is quite expensive, but overall, not bad. Moving on, we look at the collateralization ratio, and just a reminder, this is the percent of Frax's collateral that is FXS, right? So in this case, we're at the unchanged value of 93.3% from last week. So said differently, there's about like 17% of FXS, but unchanged. So, exactly. Insert the meme here where it's like unchanged and the mouth drops. Same thing, conversely, on the right-hand side, we see our decent percent, which stands for the decentralization percent. How much of the collateral we have is decentralized. And here we have a slight bounce up from the low in the 13s into 14.7%, which also represents a 0% unchanged from last week. So, we're kind of in the low range here. And I hope I didn't just jinx us by saying that. But anyways, it's still very, very much bear market vibes across the board here for these two metrics. We want to see the collateralization percent up in the low 80s and the decent percent going back to the 30s. All right. So quick summary here. We have our health check, peg strong, curve swap strong, collat unchanged, decent unchanged. Now we switch to a new segment. Honestly, this is probably like my new favorite one just because it's up only on this chart. And this is the Frax ETH peg. And as always, we always check the peg. And you see here that it currently right now is 0.9987. So it's about 13 bips away from, 1-for-1 for the ETH. But as always, can't trust the dashboard. Got to go to the market. And you see here, we're about to swap 3,500 ETH. And the reason why it was 3,500 Frax ETH, and the reason why we chose this number is because this represents the largest holder of Frax ETH. Okay, so now if this big whale decides to be like I'm outie, this is their exchange rate that they would get. Pretty damn solid, in my opinion. Pretty damn solid. Yeah. For a large whale to exit, and there'll still be obviously plenty of liquidity for us too. And currently right now, there's about 61% of the Frax ETH supply in Curve. So everyone is still chilling on the flywheel. And we've seen a definitely downtick here because this 5% of folks migrated over to the SFrax ETH pool, as we see on the next slide. About 39%.
Can you go back to the last slide? So for the past couple of weeks, the the ETH total was actually higher than the Frax ETH total, like you're saying. Mm-hmm. So there's like a positive. The peg was skewed towards ETH, not towards Frax ETH, and now it's flipped back again, which I guess is like in the long term is to be expected, right? Like with how the discounting should work, there should be more Frax ETH in this pool, but. I guess in the first couple craziness of the weeks, it was skewed towards ETH, which was just people, I guess, depositing and then letting it get arbed out.
Yeah. I mean, right now, if you were to deposit ETH, you probably etch out just a bit better, right? With a tiny little bonus per se by going in. So all you folks out there, jump on in. The pool is warm. All right. Moving on, we have our Frax ETH count, and this chart is honestly just up and to the right, baby. It keeps on bumping to 31,000. Oh shit, the image didn't paste. I'll update that graphic, but we're currently at 31,677 Frax ETH. That is a 32% bump from last week.
Up only.
So
up only.
Very up only. Like this graph is great. This segment makes me happy, right? And then on the right hand side, we see which percent of the people are currently staked in the pool, and we see that 38%. This went up from 33% just last week, so we see a 18% bump here as well too. So people are liking that native yield in addition to the flywheel yield.
That real yield.
So very, very good things. That real yield. And now we do a quick check here. The peg, as we saw, was about, down a bip, or rather 10 basis points. Curve swap, you saw that we swapped the largest whale size and still got an exchange rate of 0.9970. And with the count in the up only to 32,000, and we see that 38% of that is staked in SFrax ETH, and the inverse 61% is in the Curve pool. You boys want to make a bet to see what the Frax ETH count is next week?
Well, what is better? We have 4 weeks to the end of the year, right?
Yeah. Should we do year end? Okay.
Well, I mean, are we going to break 50,000 ETH by year end?
Oh, dude, yes. Oh, that's a low bar. That's a low bar. I was thinking in the
75K
six-figure club.
Let's get to 100K.
75K. Yeah,
100K. Yeah, that would be great.
I think 100K. I think ending the year at 100K could be really just. Who knows? Maybe the Frax team has a Christmas present for us on that week and just do some massive loading up on the bribes here.
Well, if we keep on expanding at 30% week on week, I mean, we'll probably hit 50. And then, we're going to have to do a show at the end of the year with our year price or year predictions for Frax coming up. But I mean, maybe we could hit 1 million ETH by this time next year. Big Frax ETH contract.
Dude, yes, I would love. Wait, how much ETH is in Steth right now? Do you know?
It's like
I can find it if you guys keep on talking.
Yeah,
there's like a million or two.
Oh, I should totally do how I do it for the 3 pool and base pool, like the flipping graph. Maybe maybe I'll do something like that for Frax ETH and Lido.
So Lido has 4.5 million ETH staked across 143,000 validators, and Rocket Pool has 320,000 ETH staked across 10,000 validators.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we're 10% of Rocket Pool already.
Give us 3 to 6 months. I think we can surpass Rocket Pool.
Yeah, especially when Shanghai comes and the unlock happens. I think we'll see a huge shift to Frax ETH because it's definitely more a better product than Lido is.
Yeah. I agree. Okay, so what's our prediction for Christmas at least, or by the year end? 100K?
I think 50. I think 50 is unless Curve goes through the roof. I think 50.
I think 72K, and I say that because 72 was my number playing football. That's it. And I can't think of anything else.
Okay,
just pure nostalgia. 72K.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with just for the culture. It's gonna be 69,420.
Okay, fine. Let's see. All
just
right.
for the culture.
That's a good one.
All right, cool. Moving on. We have our profit money check, in short, where we look at all the AMO holdings and the profitability of said AMOs. Where we first look at the Curve AMO, which is at 444 mil, and this is we literally increased by 1 million this week. So
that's great.
Pretty much, like I said, pretty much everything's ranging in the lows. I can't foresee us kind of going down even further. So here's kind of where we are right now. The liquidity is pretty much unchanged, lending is unchanged, and investors unchanged. So far so good. Let's just range here and then up only, please. All right, moving on. We have our profitability check, and I just want to do a recap of November really quick here. We made revenues of about 2.17 million and total expenses of about 2.6 million, which gives us a profit, or rather a loss, of about 460K for the month of November. Still going through. We're working here at the Flywheel Pod, our internal data team. We're gonna try to clean this up for you guys and actually get literally block by block profitability. And hopefully we can have that sometime early next year to start really tracking this thing down to the freaking block. It'll be sick.
Block by
But
block.
right now, here's where we are. No profit November is definitely past. Hopefully December is different. And this is where we are at currently right now in December. It's not too bad. We are at 280K in revenue so far for the first 6 days. And our expenses are at 400K. This is the usual team expense and etc. But we haven't paid bribes yet this week. It's actually next week. So, let's see. Let's see where we end up in December. Hopefully we get some good numbers here. Now, quick summary of the money check. We have the AMO holdings at 549.4 million, which is pretty much unchanged from yesterday, or rather last week. And at the profitability, for the month of November, we were down 460K. Okay, so this next part, gents, is obviously my favorite part. And this is the liquidity check. So we are 68% of
we're turning around.
Again, slight bounce.
Slight
bounce right there. We got as low as 65, made me sweat. Then we bounced to 66, and now we're at 68. So we're clawing our way back to that red bar line where we flipped it, and it's so sad, right, to see that we literally flipped it right here. And then we were able to celebrate for like 2 weeks for 2 Frax checks where we're over the moon.
New paradigm.
Yeah, new paradigm, and then rugged, and then complete rugged.
It's over.
Now let's take a look at how 3 of the pools are performing. We have here, as the Frax base pool and the Frax 3 CRV flipped, which was like, I thought this was very telling of like where people want to park their money right now, because I don't think I think the Frax 3 CRV are still receiving bribes as well, but I think we need to do a better job migrating all the liquidity from the Frax 3 CRV pool into the Frax base pool, to be completely honest. But this is kind of where we stacked up across the board. The Frax base pool is at 450 million in TVL. I mean, not too shabby, but the team hasn't cleaned the imbalance up yet. Right now is a 25-75 split. But did you guys know why the team's kind of dragging on doing this?
Probably just they don't have to, right? I mean, it doesn't affect the peg enough for them to probably have their own internal controls about like what's happening, right? And
yeah, I second what Sam says.
Well, yeah. Okay. I mean, well, now is a great time if you have USDC to deposit into this pool, because I think you get a nice little bump, given the imbalance here. But anyways, let's transition over to our meta pools. And just a reminder, meta pools are paired pools against the base pool. And we see here, guys, we have a little bounce.
Yeah.
A little bounce, baby. 44.4 million. This was a pretty big bounce, technically, because it was a 16%, or rather almost 17% bounce. So this was very happy to see. And this is the TVL of the stables, okay? And just a reminder, this is like TVL including LUSD, Frax base pool, GUSD, Frax base pool, and any of the other top stable coin in the game. So really good to see that we finally got some bounce back into this thing. This thing looked like it was about to nosedive down to 0. So I'm glad we kind of changed course. Additionally, fun fact, if the listeners didn't know, the meta pool also allows you to do non-stable pairs. So for the non-stable pair, we've actually been seeing a pretty flat 12.8, 11 kind of range for the last 3 weeks. So nothing much changed on the non-stable side. And in total, of all the TVL paired against the meta pool, we have 57.2 million, which is up 12% from last week. Very good, very strong, very sexy. And if any projects out there are in need of, our help to get paired up with these meta pools, please join our Telegram at Flywheel Pod. Just DM any of us, and then we'll get some chatting going on. And lastly, the reason why we do all of this is to make sure that one number goes up, and that is the Frax supply. Before we do that, let me give you a quick summary on the liquidity check. We have 450 mil in the Frax base pool, with 68% of it being 68% of the 3 pool. And meta pool, we're holding strong at 57 million TVL across all pair types. Now, like I said, we check on this number, and this number is down small. We are down 50 bips. We are literally flirting at the $1 billion line. I don't know how I would feel if it drops to 9 figures. If it hits nine digits, I really don't know. I really don't know. I start questioning. But here we are at the Frax supply of $1.018 billion. Please do not break the $1 billion line. This is definitely ATL for the last year. So, let's run it back turbo, please. Now,
please.
I'm gonna hand it over to my boy and Sam. Governance roundup, baby. All right, Dave and Sam, take us away.
Thanks so much for that, Kiet. And optimistic to see a little bounce there, because it was down for a few weeks only. It was down only. It was just like, make it stop. So it's like nice to see that some recovery there. Let's get to the governance roundup. I say the theme for this governance roundup is the community is very excited for all the Frax Ferry deployment. And, if you noticed in the governance roundups before, it was the team that were proposing, new Frax Ferry on the different chains and whatnot, and Moonriver, Moonbeam, whatnot. And now it's like people in the community proposing it. So, for example, we have FIP 144, deploy Frax Ferry to Polygon. This was authored by 0x Cutter, and this was his first post. This is yet to be posted, a snapshot. We even have one post at the proposal at the beginning that really isn't much of a proposal. It's literally just more of just it's one line. It's deploy Frax Ferry to New Chain Harmony. And the one line is deploy Frax Ferry between Ethereum. No details, nothing whatsoever. But, this is, it's showing what the community wants. And not only that, there's also proposals like FIP 141 deploy Frax Ferry to BSC, which is currently its snapshot. It has 7,000 votes for and 0 against. And also FIP 140, which is deploy to Phantom, which has been highly requested in the Telegram, and that right now is in snapshot with 656,000 votes for and 1.3 thousand votes against. A few other interesting ones that have come about are FIP 142, which is to add Frax gauges to Kyber swap Elastic on Ethereum, Polygon, Arbitrum, and Optimism. This was authored by Ken Kyber, and they actually how they worded it as they recommend gauges for the following pairs: Frax USDC across all 4 chains of including Ethereum, Arbitrum, Optimism, and Polygon. And then just on Ethereum, they recommended a Frax ETH Frax pair, Frax ETH, S Frax ETH, Wrap Staked ETH, and also S Frax ETH Frax. For this proposal, I don't see this one passing because of just the way it's worded and recommended. I always think it's better to separate the gauges when doing proposals, and this is kind of just a little bit all over the place. I'm down for gauges, and gauges are, as we say on the Frax Check, the low hanging fruit, and the more gauges, the better. But this is kind of all over the place, and I'm not sure if because we had our first Frax ETH gauges before, and we made an exception because it's usually just only Frax gauges. But I think we would just need to separate the pairs from each other and just have separate proposals for each in order for this one to pass. So, but as long as that happens, I expect most of these gauges, except maybe the Frax ETH pair passing. So, food for thought. Ken Kyber. Honestly, I should like write that recommendation down in the forum after this. So yeah. Now next up we have FIP 143, which is to add the wrapped convex the convex wrapped SDT Frax BP gauge to the Frax gauge controller. This was authored by Letube. And so right now this is up in snapshot 6K40 against. I expect this one to pass like all Frax BP gauges should. And last but not least, we have an update on FIP 119, the Gearbox AMO from Ivan. He said that the new pools on Gearbox will be made 4626 and not ERC style C tokens. So he's going to keep us posted. They're close to completion. It's a small change, but we should expect the pools soon. So exciting stuff. I'm excited for the Gearbox AMO, and Sam, that is your doing, so you must be pretty excited for it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of two proposals that have gotten past that I wrote up. So Gearbox has been doing some great work. It'll be nice to see Frax and Frax ETH added to their collateral pools. So that'll be another wave that you can actually earn on your Frax ETH is by depositing it at Gearbox and letting other people use it as composable leverage.
Yeah, no, it's going to, I'm excited to see it, like these kind of money Legos. And when we had them on our pod and they were talking about it, and it's just like such a unique DeFi native money Lego that it would be cool to see Frax plugged into it.
Unique.
Yeah. Yeah. And once everything gets added to Gearbox as well too, I mean, you'll really be able to make up to about what I think the staked ETH pairs are getting like up to 40% APY. So you'll be able to get probably even more, maybe 50 to 60% on your Frax ETH leveraged once it's added to Gearbox.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Spicy. It's going to be fun to witness once it's live. And if you want to be updated on when that, you want to be updated on when that comes live, don't forget to follow us on YouTube, subscribe to us, hit that bell button, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to, if you want to join the discussion, join us on Telegram at Flywheel Pod. Follow us on Twitter at Flywheel Pod. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm DeFi Dave 22.
And I'm 0x_K.
And I'm at traders_insight.
And this has been Frax Check, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
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 Sweet.